So whether you're an influencer or a brand, you need to know what to do if you are involved in a crisis. And I'm talking about a PR crisis. So I'm Jay Feldman. I'm one of the co-founders of Otter PR, one of the biggest PR firms in the United States. And today I want to speak to you about how to handle a PR crisis, whether your business or personal brand is being canceled on Twitter, or there's negative articles in the news, or people are speaking negatively, and that negative talk is growing. How do you actually react? Well, in this video, I'm going to break down the 3 steps that everybody needs to have in mind. It's going to be really easy to remember and really easy to follow. So if you are ever in this unfortunate position where your business or personal reputation is at stake, you need to handle all of your next steps with exact care, precision, and verbiage. So without further ado, here's what you do in the case of a crisis. I call it the 3 A's. And it's very easy to remember, and it's important to follow them sequentially and specifically. So the first A in a crisis, if say you're being canceled on Twitter and everybody is accusing you of doing this horrible thing or saying something horrible, whether it was recent or years ago, the first thing that you're going to want to do is the first A, which is acknowledgement. So never lie and never defer responsibility. The first step is always to admit that you were in the wrong. However, this can come with some legal ramifications too. So I will put a big asterisk here. If you're admitting to a legal mistake and that could come back and blow back in a lawsuit, be very careful and tiptoe around this one. But never defer, never lie. Say, listen, I'm a human. I made this mistake. And that leads us into the second A, which is apology. So after you've acknowledged your mistake, say, yes, my brand did this wrong. We're young, we're learning, we're growing. I'm sorry. We're sorry for all of the people that we offended, for all the people that we hurt, for all of those who may have suffered or lost. We take full responsibility for that, and we're sorry. Very important to apologize and to do it very specifically, very directly, and not generalized. Really point to specific things you did wrong. Point to specific people that suffered, and that is going to go a whole lot deeper than a blanket apology. We're sorry for what we did to everybody. Hits a lot differently than, we're sorry that we did this specific thing, and we know that this specific group suffered greatly due to it, and we want to apologize specifically to this group that suffered. And after you've done those 2 things successfully, you've let them resonate, then you go into the third A, which is action. So once you've acknowledged your mistake, you've posted a public and specific apology, the third step is you need to take action. You need to say, what have you learned and what are you going to do to prevent that thing from happening in the future? Whether that be, maybe you were accused of racism for a comment that you made back in the day, or homophobia. I am going to better myself. I'm going to take this course. I'm going to go visit here. I am going to enter into diversity and inclusion training. Whatever that might be in your specific case, you need an action step that is going to be equivalent to whatever it is that you did. So if you harmed a specific group, you're going to have to donate to that specific group, learn more about that specific group. Do something so that some good can come out of the bad. And that's really the goal of step number 3, action. Make some good come out of the bad. Let everyone know that you're learning from this experience. It's not going to repeat itself. And here's what you're going to do to learn. So just to recap those 3 A's, number 1, acknowledgement. Don't defer responsibility. Don't point fingers and don't lie. If you get caught in a lie, that's the absolute nail in the coffin that's going to make this unrecoverable. And at the same time with this acknowledgement, make sure that you're taking any legal ramifications into account. For doctors, this is especially powerful. For example, you don't want to admit medical malpractice in your acknowledgement or your apology. And that might be true if your brand may have broken a law or you're subject to a lawsuit. Keep that in mind. Number 2 is apology. Don't use a blanket apology. Blanket apologies don't go over well. Apologize specifically and directly. And number 3 is action. Find an equal action that is going to show that some good came out of the bad, that you're learning, that your mistakes aren't going to repeat themselves. And if you harmed a group, make it right. If you showed ignorance, show how you're going to fix your ignorance. If you follow these 3 A's, I guarantee, the pitchforks on Twitter are going to move on. They're going to leave you alone. The sentiment is going to be left on a positive note. You're always going to have haters. You're always going to be dealing with cancel culture and people who are trying to tear you down, especially the more successful you get. Other thing important to know is you're not alone. I know once you're going through something like this, it feels like you're the only one. It's not fair. This is the end of my company. This is the end of my personal brand. It's not true. This happens every day to brands and people all over the world. And it's important to know how to act. You could be next. And they're going to move on from you. You just have to take the right steps to mentally, emotionally, and professionally prepare yourself for this happening and to move on and learn from it and make the world a better place. So if you loved this video, found some value in it, please like, please subscribe, please follow @OtterPR on social media for more of this awesome content. And I hope you stay out of trouble in the media, in PR, and Twitter. Definitely, there's a lot of preventative steps you can take too, so follow us for some of those steps, and I'll catch you in the next video. Bye.